Hi guys, welcome to another design process video. This time featuring CorelDraw, which is an online design and illustration tool. So naturally the design is going to be illustration based. I just got back from holiday and I wanted to ease back into the work routine by working on this poster. Like always, we first start with brainstorming and writing down some poster ideas, just to get my thoughts aligned and give the idea some direction. And really my brain had to start up again after my holidays, but it was good to be out of the routine for a little bit. Anyway, I decided on an illustrated poster focusing on summer essentials because it's still summer. So this basically just includes various summer related items that are going to be included in the poster. So let's get to designing. For those that don't know, CorelDraw is a comprehensive online design tool, making it user-friendly, accessible, and also with competitive pricing. I'd say that it's perfect for graphic designers, illustrators, and honestly any creative that requires an advanced design tool but doesn't want like a big learning curve. And you can head to the link in the description to learn more about CorelDraw and also use the code IRIS10 to get 10% off. First, I open CorelDraw and create a new A4 file and rename it. And I also wanted to start off by showing you some of the features because it's a little bit different. And you'll see me using some of these in this video as well. So as you can see, they've got a bunch of different brushes for different effects. They have loads of art brushes because this program is really focused like on artists and illustration-based things. With this, they also have several different types of lines, as you can see. You just use the pen tool to create those. And I also wanted to show you some examples of like some art brushes they have, which are pretty cool. When I was experimenting with the brushes, I actually wanted to create a poster with like the splatter brush. I thought it was pretty cool for like texture. So it's definitely nice to check it out also for inspiration. And I especially also like the ones that were under the tab of sketch. If I had like a Wacom pad or something to draw with, I'd definitely like to use all of those for some digital illustrations. Anyway, now that we've figured out the program a little bit, let's start with the design I have in mind. So during the brainstorm, like I said, decided to make a summer-focused poster. So I first add some placeholder text and turn on the grid, of course. CorelDraw actually has a dotted grid, as you can see. I honestly really liked it because it has the same effect as a normal grid, but it's a bit less invasive in terms of what you see. So I actually really liked how calm it was on the canvas. And I also had a good scroll through all of the fonts, and I found a trusty one, so I used Futura. Then I added some mouse type placeholder areas. I'd get to those later, but I always like to block out the text areas a little bit at the beginning. Then I imported my images that I'll use for the illustrations, and I'm resizing them to get a bit of an idea of the placement. It just makes your life a bit easier, blocking out the areas in a poster, both for text and image. I honestly think it helps so much. Then I just bring down opacity of the images and use the circle shape tool to draw the initial shapes and then use the pen tool for the rest of the details. And yes, I do trace the pictures for this poster. And before you come for me for tracing, I am more than able to draw these things by myself. But I honestly just didn't want to because the point of the poster for me was more about having fun with it and, trying out this new tool. And it wasn't really for testing my artistic abilities. So it was more for fun. And I just wanted to put that out there. Nothing wrong with tracing sometimes. And as I'm working on this, I'm finding out about the shortcuts and all of that in CorelDraw as I'm going along, so I'm progressively also getting faster. They also have this like free draw type of tool. You can just draw freely with this one, and I use it for some parts as well. I thought it worked really nicely. And also, let me tell you that this fan, including this fan as an illustration, was a mistake. I thought it was gonna be nice and fun, but it had so many details that I was kind of regretting it. But in the end, I just decided to make it a lot simpler than the actual image to save myself some time because it was taking forever. So many details. Also, guys, here's your reminder to always save your work, because even though CorelDraw does auto-save, sometimes it's delayed for a couple of minutes and I accidentally clicked out of the program and lost all the progress I made. So here's your reminder to just hit save. And after all the effort for the illustrations, I was finally ready to start composing my actual poster layout. And this was seriously the most fun part. I started by pulling in my illustrations, kind of in the place of where I put the placeholder image first. And the flow of the illustrations was supposed to feel a little bit breezy and natural and fun, so I wanted to put them closely together but not too cluttered, if that makes any sense. I also changed the background to a bit of a beige color that's kind of leaning towards green, and I know this is a bit of an ambiguous choice because usually when you pick beige you kind of lean more towards yellow. I wanted to pair it with like a bright orangey yellow for the text, and I think it works super well together. And then I went back in and cleaned up the illustrations a bit where it was needed. And this part is always so satisfying because it really like puts the final touches to it. I love it. And this is also a nice tip because to give the illustrations a little bit more visual weight, even though they're kind of detailed, I tend to make the outlines and also some other lines a bit thicker than the rest. I think it's a nice contrast and really draws you in, makes the illustration stand out more. And I also added a line of Chinese text because I got to keep up with my character knowledge and sentence structure because I actually studied Chinese and I never have time to study it anymore. So I try to just include some Chinese lines in my posters sometimes to just be efficient and get the best of both worlds, you know? And it also looks pretty, so. And here is then the final poster. I think it's really giving summer vibes and feels inviting and has a nice layer and overall construction. I had a great time exploring CorelDraw. I always really like learning new tools and seeing what they have to offer and how easy it is to use, what all the options are basically, what I can do with it. And it also is like a challenge for me again to test like how well it can function with a different tool. So I had a lot of fun. CorelDraw is like really accessible, I think, for designers mostly, but also especially artists and illustrators. Like it's really catered towards more illustrative things. So I highly recommend to check them out, and you can head to the link in my bio for more information. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you